about us saying, okay, two wins is probably what you need. If Sydney Drop Bears gets 3 wins, they get a 4-0 here. Yep. I think that just sort of puts you out of reach just a little bit for, I guess at this point, either Melbourne Mavericks or Legacy. So, it's what Sydney Drop Bears are looking for. Winter on the Widowmaker to start things off. Looks like he wanted to try a bit longer, but
so did Dreamer actually. He went for a hog hook on the left there. You saw that. May look silly, but there's been Sombras staying there all week, so might have found a Sombra and found a free kill if he nailed that. But no Sombra on the side of Athletico. It is the bunker composition with the Roadhog. D-Field choosing to go Ash instead of the Widowmaker. It adds a little bit more utility. The Bob ultimate is a lot more powerful than the Infra sight on this point.
Taking a little while for Sydney Drop Bears to get their push going, but Winter showing some nice movement with that Farah. Gets across quite nicely.
Oh,
that is a shot from Niang, and D-Field drops early on in the piece. You would have blinked and missed it. But Sydney Drop Bears certainly did not as they push the issue. The revive did come across from Design, but Niang, he's back to his old shenanigans. This feels like Kings Row once again. And I almost expected him to hit that shot onto D-Field, but he doesn't quite manage that. Still, he's done his job, and now it's on the rest of Sydney Drop Bears to clean up the remaining mess. D-Field not interested.
Yeah, he's running out of mates on the point there and just getting caught out of position. Yeah, sure, D-Field gets picked off, but that's not the biggest deal. He gets the res out, and Wuvo now with the Dragon Blade. Well, with the Genji coming out, so maybe he heard me there. That's pretty spooky that he suddenly swaps to that, actually.
That is so spooky, Smash. So spooky. It's kind of even scarier than Stranger Things. Very
Straight
scary.
away, Shoyo on the money, on the Brig. Gives up his Hanzo ultimate and he swaps straight to the Brig as soon as he sees that Genji coming out. He doesn't want any of these pesky dive heroes hurting his boys.
And still going to persist with the Widowmaker. Has been doing a pretty good job so far, finding those picks for his team. And I don't seem too interested in peeking into his sightlines just yet. Still hiding behind the saloon. Now the dive will come in and Yang has positioned himself accordingly at the very back.
D-Field in a lot of trouble getting the anti-nade on him. It's just manages. No, he doesn't. He goes down to Winter.
Yeah, he just gets caught by a stray rocket as he tried to get away. It almost looked like he was out. I was on the ball with you. I was picking up what you were putting down, but Sydney Drop Bears certainly were not. Rocket Barrage is here now for Winter. Jay demeched as well, but there's probably no real need for the Rocket Barrage now.
No, certainly not. He gets the clean-up kills, and we've seen Winter on this Farah have a lot of success this series, actually. The thing that's impressing me is maybe he's not his rocket aim, but the way he's positioning above these walls, so he's not exposing himself to hit scan heroes, not exposing himself to that Zarya as well. He's played very well, actually, very intelligently.
The payload is pushing totally uncontested. It hasn't really stopped since it started. There's still 3 minutes and 40 here for Sydney Drop Bears. A lot of time to work with, and if Athletico filter out from the same angle, it's going to be dangerous. Grouped up here against a Rocket Barrage. Nano Boost goes on. Winter the Concussion Blast to push him forward. There's 3 grouped up, but 1 was a Diva. Oh, dearie me. The Winston right up into the air. Going to jump straight into the Rocket Barrage, and almost looked like he was going to get Winter with the splash damage, but regardless, it's Winter to survive. Good heals coming through from Sydney Drop Bears, and he'll continue the damage on as the rest of Athletico fall around him. To his teammates, Sydney Drop Bears, 4.5 minutes is what they've got as they cap point B.
As soon as that Nano Boost goes on to Winter, Quad-J with the defense matrix instinctively thinking the barrage is going to come out, but Winter kind of baits him there, wastes all of his defense matrix, and that means that the barrage goes for free. They tried to shut it down with the Primal Rage, but Rockets versus Gorillas, who wins?
Yeah, let's not bring up a famous gorilla.
Well, he didn't get hit by a rocket.
Well, we're all thinking it's Smash. Someone had to say it. Niang is going to have to translocate out.
Great job from Athletico to get this early contest, though. That means they might be able to get 3 fights on this phase. Both the teams are swapped off to this. One's on the Sombra 3-3 and the other's just on the basic 3-3. Ults favouring Athletico, though.
Those ults being the Graviton Surge. Wuvo looks at the ground. You can sense that there was a Graviton Surge ready to come, and now it is invested. Perhaps the first fight win in a long time for Athletico off the back of that Dreamer, though. Has got the Nano Boost and will continue to swing the hammer, looking for some cleave damage. Won't really find it.
Yeah, with Paso getting taken down now, they're a little bit vulnerable on the side of Athletico, and they need to get out of here pretty quick. They don't want to get staggered here. One sleep on D-Field maybe seals his fate. Nano Boost doesn't go onto him, so it doesn't save him, and now we see a fight break out.
Big damage coming across for Wuvo here. He's fully charged up at 100%. Passo not going to overcommit to the charge. Doesn't have Earth Shatter here.
So unfortunately, the Nano Boost not really amounting to much. Goose won that one back too. But the card, it's still in a good position for the defenders as they back off to this corner. That will allow them to work Passo's shield very well as he gets the boot block, actually. That's very nicely played for Passo.
City Drop Bear's finding it a lot more difficult though to get through here. That's a great Earth Shatter, connects onto 3. There's a self-destruct in the mix as well. Doesn't seem to have had too much of an impact wherever it came from. Athletico once again, as soon as we hit phase C, as soon as we get into more of a 3-3 mirror, having much more success.
Yeah, that Passo on the Reinhardt, able to dictate the tempo of the game, really shows that Athletico relies so much on him as a playmaker. And you saw him, you know, brain on them there. He figured out that he was getting attacked from the side. The Reinhardt couldn't protect everybody at the same time, so he drops the Earth Shatter in.
Graviton Surge has been dropped in as well. This one from City Drop Bears. It's a great one from Shoyu, in fact. And it will net 3 kills for Winter. He gets a 4th onto Goobs as the Graviton Surge does fade away. But that is finally the door smashed open by Athletico, or by City Drop Bears. It's taken a long time though.
Yeah,
Kraken to this point.
Getting the big Bionade in there really sealed the deal as soon as that came out. I think he waddled on in there and got it off. That comes through from Yang. He does have the EMP for this fight, and that will probably be the curtains for Athletico if he gets a big one.
A bit of armor there for Niang makes it difficult for Quad J to tank through some of the damage.
Another Nano Boost from Goobs just doesn't get anything done. It just slows the push from the side of the Sydney Drop Bears, but now they'll be able to re-engage quite easily.
Sydney Drop Bears playing around the Nano Boost really well indeed. Shatter goes straight into Shoyo's bubble. Niang almost thought that he got cancelled for a second there, but he was hanging on to the EMP, which has now been thrown on out. Shatter is open and connects onto 2. And those 2 players will fall straight down into the grave. It's a self-destruct. Quad J, how has that happened? It's a Kraken and Shoyo who will drop, and he might have been the hero now for Athletico. Getting 2 with that self-destruct certainly makes this fight look a little more winnable. A hack through onto Passo makes him a little bit of a sad boy. Nonetheless, though, Athletico are happy across the board as they hang on to point C. Quad J.
That Desperation Diva Bomb was comical. It kind of bounced off the wall and really took everyone by surprise as it came back down.
Well, sometimes that's the best kind of Diva Bomb. We see Niang have to translocate on out. He's very low on HP. A Bionade connects onto Shoyo, puts him to purple, but he's okay. That fades away, and now Graviton Surge is there for him. What's available for Athletico? Well, not a lot, and once again, it's going to be a Bionade that, well, a Nano Boost rather, from groups that didn't do a whole lot. Graviton Surge, however, perhaps a will. Defield down, Wuvo in the back lines on the Doomfist. He's trying to do some damage. Backs away, bounces straight into a Kraken. Can't quite get the kill, but the Meteor Strike might. A Kraken, again, running away, bouncing around on the point. Still Athletico wasting the time of Sydney Drop Bears here. This is going to go into overtime regardless. So at the very least, Athletico have held that long sound barrier now. And EMP from Sydney Drop Bears. That should surely be the nail in the coffin. But overtime does tick Sydney Drop Bears. They don't quite get it done.
Oh, they do. They do get it done. He's in his home. Look at him.
They do, but they don't get it done quickly enough.
They don't avoid the overtime.
Time on the board. So
that's right.
It's still a very, very solid hold, I've got to say, actually, from Athletico there in phase C.
That 0.3 hold was... it took a lifetime to get through.
Yeah.
They really did well at just hunkering down in this 3-3, and we've seen them. As soon as Passo gets on that Reinhardt and they're able to play around him a lot more, they get a lot more success. And Shoyo and the boys on the side of the Sydney Drop Bears, they'll be happy they finished the map. That's kind of like the basic check mark, you know, you've got a par score, but you really would have been eyeing up a big time bank there. They
when
really
you had
missed
4.5 minutes going into phase C. And the thing is now for Sydney Drop Bears is that they have to restrict Athletico to either capping in overtime or just not capping it out.
Well, that's right. If Athletico manage to cap with over a minute remaining, they will be able to play for that win, and that will mean the only result would be a draw or a win for the side of Athletico if they cap with over a minute remaining. And we see the versatile composition come out once more from the side of the Sydney Drop Bears. The Sombra and the Ana selected. Dreamer on the Reinhardt, kind of a given on this Hollywood point. It is harder to play the Winston there. You don't have the big high grounds to rotate in and out of the fights.
Yep.
So this composition does deal with everything pretty well, though. It's anyone's game at this point, really. Athletico has shown at the back end of series to turn up, and it looks like they kind of are now at the back end of the map. They turned up too.
They've also shown the ability to finish off Volskaya pretty comfortably, but then they did actually struggle into the time bank rounds of Volskaya. So
Oh, Defield's got Nyang. The spawn pick works out, and he's happy with that. It's straight onto the brig, and they'll pile in as soon as they can.
I don't know that this is going to be quick enough, though, for Athletico. Nyang is respawning right now, so another 5 seconds. If Sydney Drop Bears can buy that, Nyang is going to be back. They're actually going to commit forward, and how has Winter fallen so quickly? Just out of position a little bit. This has gone all wrong for Sydney Drop Bears. They just needed to buy another couple of seconds, and Nyang would have been there for the 6v6, but damn! Athletico were quick. Sydney Drop Bears are not pleased at all.
No, Winter, he got low from a fire strike, or maybe it was a right click from Azario, and he just jumped off the high ground into the loving arms of Paso the playmaker, and he cleaned up that fight pretty quickly. But wow, what a shot from Defield to open it up. You never see that work.
Man, I had that work one time. I was playing Zenyatta, 5-balled the enemy there.
Funnily enough, I did it to Color Hex once in an official, and he got very mad.
I'm sure we all believe that smash.
Oh, I'm going to have to find it.
I don't think there is the clip. Color Hex certainly wouldn't believe it.
Wow,
There
what a
is
shatter
another
from Paso.
shatter from Paso. We kind of called him out a little bit coming into Hollywood here. Said he hasn't really been showing up for Athletico, and well, there you go.
Give this man a shield and a hammer and he'll carry you, it seems. He's played amazingly on the Reinhardt so far. He's been asleep at the wheel on the Orisa, but when the Reinhardt comes out, so does Athletico, it seems. They play around him so well, and he sets up these shatters, he sets up these plays, and really impressive stuff from Paso.
Yeah, Sydney Drop is struggling to build ultimates as well. These fights have been over so quickly. Here's another contest from them, but still nothing to speak of. Shoyo's getting close to grab. Of course, Kraken is also pretty close by with the nano boost. No EMP to speak of just yet.
No, and as the nano boost from Goobs comes out, can they get value off this one? It's a good bomb position from Quad J.
Shoyo, I don't know what was going on there, but he did not have an external bubble or a self bubble, it seems. He's going to drop very quickly.
This is going to be an even faster time from Athletico.
Yep.
They're going to have 5 minutes on the clock here, I believe.
Just under it.
5:40!
Wow, well, just under 6 minutes even. So, this is pretty dangerous for Sydney Drop Bears here. Wuvo, Goobs, they've followed it up nicely. It's a good spawn camp. Sydney Drop Bears kind of got that forward spawn, which they didn't really want.
No, this is a completely ideal situation for Athletico, but into the next fight, they're going to have a really tough time. The 6 ultimates are going to come up, so if I'm Athletico, I want to lose this fight. I want to lose it make it as expensive, as possible for the Sydney Drop Bears, and then go back in the next one with an ult advantage.
Got a lot of free push. It's Graviton Surge that gets thrown in early from Sydney Drop Bears. So there's one ultimate down. Do we see any more from the defenders? Doesn't look like it. It was a nice sleep on the D field.
There's a good charge from Dreamer too. Putting Paso out of position. Once you solo grab those Reinhardts, it can look pretty bad, right? Like, you only get the one man in the grab and you start panicking like, oh no, we're not going to have enough damage to kill him with his shield up. So Dreamer pins him back into his team and there's nothing really to punish him. But now the ult cycle begins. We saw Athletico do so well on their defense here. Will Sydney Drop Bears mirror the same?
See you later.
Just going to go around the back. That's locating on out. Paso, the one who threw his Earth Shatter in there. It's not really connected onto anyone, and 5 players in that EMP. A nice one from Nyang. It's going to be marking the start of the battle for Sydney Drop Bears and probably the end of the battle for Athletico.
Quad J taken for a ride. No, why'd you kill him, Dreamer? You could have staggered him forever. There's no environmental kills on this map.
I think he just wanted to bully. To be fair, Dreamer was a little bit out of position there, so if he hangs around and tries to stagger Quad J, might actually have come back to bite Sydney Drop Bears.
Oh, you silly duffer. Oh well. There was a cheap fight for the side of the Sydney Drop Bears, and Shoyo's almost built up his Graviton Surge again.
Barrier thrown in very early from Athletico there. D-Field goes low nonetheless. It's a pretty nice shatter on through from Dreamer. The Graviton Surge will be eaten by Quad J. Maybe that's the big play that Athletico needs here to really slam the door open like a battering ram for Athletico. That's going to be Paso, a literal battering ram as he gets pushed back then by some of the Sydney Drop Bears players. The shield is low, the shatter is in, but it doesn't really seem to have connected onto too much. Shoyo slept there, the other player was on the floor as a result of the Earth Shatter, but it is enough for Athletico. 3 minutes and 22 seconds on the clock here, and it should surely be above 3 minutes when they finally cap it out. That is a very fast time on Hollywood, and you think how long they actually got stalled in Phase C to have still 3 minutes.
They went in with about 5:48 on the clock. 2 minutes off the clock isn't long enough, though, if you have 5 on the clock. So now we enter this situation with Athletico. Are they coming back? It seems like they are. They playing around this Paso Reinhardt, they still look a lot more comfortable, that's for sure.
That said, we didn't really get to see much of Sydney Drop Bears' defense on point A because of the pick really early on in the piece. So do they get stalled up a little bit there? And if they do here for Sydney Drop Bears, if they can force it through to a draw, that's enough to win the series. It's a bit of a tough ask to hold point A. 1 tick for 3 minutes and 16 seconds, but doable.
No, it certainly is doable, and it looks like Sydney Drop Bears will be playing that composition once more, except Yang on the Zarya, not the Sombra this time, so it's a little harder to get picked off by D-Field with a magic shot. You have to back Athletico here. They showed such strength in this 3-3 composition, and throughout the whole map, that one pick-off I don't think told the whole story. I think they just outplayed them on the side of Athletico.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
It's actually interesting. In the last fight, the fight that Sydney Drop Bears lost, they went for an old school play where you have the Brig rally and you position your Lucio, your Brig, and your flex support player behind, and you try and get a wrap around. So I saw that out of the boys, and it was quite cute. Didn't pay off, unfortunately.
Amazing. That post is about you. That one's about you, Smash.
We used to call that play the Henry.
Henry. Why is it called the Henry?
Because there was a Chinese player that we versed called Henry who kept doing it to us and kept killing our flex support every single time.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yep.
Shout outs to Henry. Hope you're watching. Probably not. Well,
Never know.
Athletico just milling around.
They are wasting a bit of time here, and I don't think they should swap off at all. Okay, so they are swapping off because they've seen that the 3-3 comes out, and this is where that Mei finally gets value. It hasn't got value all series. They've been playing it into the wrong compositions, but now they've finally got the right matchup.
Sydney Drop Bears perhaps quaking in their boots. They need some Ugg boots because it's getting cold in here. Athletico look to push forward. When does the wall come up? Dreamer might be isolated, but no, a Kraken and Dreamer actually find a couple of quick kills. It looked to be a good start for Athletico. The positioning seemed nice. The damage through Sydney Drop Bears was too good. So, minute shaved off.
Yeah, when you are rotating under this GOATS composition, it's always the ballerina swan diving off the top, Dreamer swinging his hammer around. That's always dangerous to go into.
Dreamer the ballerina?
Dreamer the
ballerina? Have we just coined a new phrase for another Korean main tank?
Possibly.
We've got the big hammer.
He hasn't been very graceful so far,
Dreamer the ballerina.
That kill on the Baby Diva has rubbed me up the wrong way. Will he go for the same play again, though? The aggression.
Winter almost looked like he wanted to.
He's been knocked off the high ground, actually, Dreamer. With no shield, he might get pressured out here.
Oh, he's going to be doing some pressuring of his own. Passo down below half. Oh, what a shutter! That is huge from Dreamer, and you can say goodbye to that push for Athletico.
Yeah, now it's starting to get into this dangerous territory. They'll probably have one good fight and one stagger fight, and this Mei hasn't paid off yet as the ultimates have just not built on the side. They've got Wuvo with only 57% on his ultimate. Sydney Drop Bears certainly have a big advantage going into this fight. How will they use it?
1 minute 14. The Drop Bears do have to be aware that there's enough time for another one from Athletico. So this is not the last fight. Graviton Surge.
It's a big one.
It's a good one indeed from Niang. And there may be now a world in which Sydney Drop Bears can clutch a draw from the jaws of defeat. And a draw would be enough for a win. Funnily enough, Athletico now fight territory. Quad J with Blizzard. Wuvo still struggling to charge that Graviton Surge, but if they can get those two ultimates in conjunction, might be enough at the 11th hour for Athletico to push through Sydney Drop Bears.
It was a very expensive fight, though, for Athletico, as they used the Graviton... No, not the Graviton Surge, the Earth Shatter and the Transcendence in that fight. A nice Mei wall came up to try and mitigate damage, and the Earth Shatter tried to mitigate the Ryan damage, but it just wasn't enough.
Well, here comes Athletico for their last ditch attempt. 81% on the Graviton Surge. How long can Athletico wait, as they do have to force the Ice Block out of Quad J? Sound Barrier down now. Wuvo's up to 98%. Blizzard is thrown on in. Shoyo gets 2 with the self-destruct. The Blizzard's on the point, however. The Sydney Drop Bears are going to be forced away from that. All that needs to happen here for Athletico is one tick smash, but I just don't think they're going to be able to get to it. It's just the Ice Block there, and that is going to be very quickly melted away. It's like a hot summer here in Sydney. A Kraken, Winter, Niang, they're all doing the damage for Sydney Drop Bears and Athletico. They're not going to be able to do it. The overtime ticks away, and Sydney Drop Bears, what a hold. For over 3 minutes, they hold point A, and that could have totally felt the difference on Hollywood. Imagine they could have done that in regulation time. Would have been halfway through map 4 by now.
Would have been a lot easier, wouldn't it? But a heartbreaking result for Athletico. But you saw the veteran experience of Shoyo. Do you know he's made every single grand final of Australian lands? That's an impressive record out of one player, and he really shows why he's been so consistently at the top. In the clutch moments, he gets the 2K Diva Bomb that really opens the fight up.
Might be a tough ask to do it again this season, but if we continue to see good plays out from him, maybe there's a world in which Sydney Drop Bears do make a grand finals run. Well, that was definitely a pretty action-packed Hollywood, and it's enough to win the series. As I said, for Sydney Drop Bears, they're now 2-0, 1 map to play. There's no way that we go to Nepal, even if Athletico do pick up Havana. So Sydney Drop Bears can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief, and Legacy can look at this and say, hey, we beat Athletico next week, we might actually be in playoffs.
Yeah, they certainly will. I think it'll be the first time a Legacy roster has made playoffs too, so that'd be good for the organisation, good for the team, bit of morale boosting. But it's so unfortunate for Athletico. They look so good for 80% of the map, and then they just fall at the final hour to the stronghold out of the Sydney Drop Bears, and really well-timed aggression from the Sydney Drop Bears, jumping off the top of that.
That was such a good shot.
That was a game.
I think there was a boot there from Fluoro.
Yeah, I think it was. Also, the shields from Paso was getting very low, so that might have broken too. But the way the Sydney Drop Bears controlled that high ground and managed to dive on into the enemy team, they got about 2 free fight wins off that. So Athletico not adjusting quick enough to deal with that pressure.
Yeah, time and time again, Sydney Drop Bears just able to clutch away a victory. It's a far cry from what we used to see from Sydney Drop Bears, where they were utterly demolishing everyone. But it is nice to see Sydney Drop Bears kind of coming back into the swing of things here. In Season 2 of 2019, we feel a little bit remiss to not have them into a solid playoffs position, or it kind of feels a little bit remiss not to have them through to finals, but that's a whole different story. For now, we look toward Havana. Again, it doesn't really feel as though Athletico are going to be able to get too much done in this series, especially after they're on Hollywood. You kind of put everything into that Hollywood one. So now here on Havana, I wonder if Athletico have enough steam to pick up this final map.
Oh, it'd be heartbreaking. It'd be crushing for the side of Athletico. You just worked so hard for that tie on Hollywood. You're not getting the victory, and the series is now out of reach, but map scores are important, especially with Legacy having such a strong map score. They need everything they can get out of this series, Athletico. So I think if they are going to win this Havana map, it's going to be the back of D-Field's Widow. I don't think they're going to get the 3-3 matchup that they want. So D-Field's Widow is going to have to pop off. And we've already seen it in the first map. He played very well. Can he continue that type of form, though? He needs to be a little bit better, even then.
Well,
might be asking a bit too much, though, out of just one man.
I think so. It's a team game. Havana has been a map, actually, that neither team have really had too much success on this season. They've both lost it, actually. But that'll change.
The streetlights are still on.
Oh, I can't believe it. We asked them yesterday to change that.
Yep. Unfortunately, they just haven't worked fast enough on that.
It's pretty typical of the government. Usually a bit slow on everything.
All that bureaucratic red tape. But that's alright. I'm sure they'll get around to it.
One day, sooner or later. Well, Havana, that makes it look pretty nice, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Have you ever been to Cuba?
Have not. No.
Ever been near Cuba?
No. Right. Don't think so.
Well, that's unfortunate. It's part of the world.
Most of the places I've been, well, either Australia or Europe. Been to Asia a little bit as well.
Yeah, no. Oh, well-travelled man.
You're a big fan of China.
I loved my time in China. It was fantastic.
Yeah?
Yep. Went over, 14-hour flight or whatever it was, got 06 and then got
How is it
home.
a 14-hour flight to China, by the way? I don't know what kind of flights you got.
I don't know.
But you got wrecked. That's all I'm going to say.
I had to go to Hong Kong.
It takes like 8 hours to get to China, mate.
Oh, a big biotic grenade from a Kraken again sets up a good defense, or an offense as it is now. Gets the pick onto D-Field, and now things are crumbling apart for Athletico.
Yes, yeah, so is Pasto's HP bar. He drops pretty quickly to Niang, and Dreamer will use the opening left by no opposition main tank to continue to swing his hammer. Dreamer, the ballerina, just spinning around. He's so graceful, look at that.
He does do a lot of spinning actually on that ride. I've noticed that. When he goes with these swings, he goes from right to left. There used to be a bug in the game where you could get 2 swings off, and I think he's still playing around that.
Yeah, it's probably just a force of habit. That kind of thing that once you play with it for a while, you just get used to it.
We do see Winter on the Baptiste, and he's managed to build himself an ultimate very quickly here.
Well, a lot of Sydney Drop Bears have actually built very quick ultimates. We've got Shatter, EMP.
I think that Yang EMP looks juicy right now.
Oh, it certainly does, and that's exactly what's going to be thrown in. So does the Earth Shatter. Very juicy indeed, and well, Wubo's pretty much been turned to juice as he gets smashed into the wall by Dreamer, but it's a 2 for 2 in all of that, and now actually favouring Athletico, so boggles the mind. Yeah, literally boggles the mind as to how Athletico managed to win that fight, but Sydney Drop Bears are scratching their head.
It's criminal that Paso kills 2 there. I mean, they commit the EMP, it was a big one, they commit the Shatter, and they just didn't get enough out of it. Wow.
Maybe thought it was too much of a free win, and
maybe they took their...
Yeah, give Athletico a bit of a handicap.
Took the foot off the gas, and Paso just punished them for it, really.
They took the gas off of the payload, that is for sure. 2 minutes and 17 seconds here for Sydney Drop Bears to get to point A. We've never seen point A hold on Havana in Contenders Australia.
No, I don't think we have. Everyone's managed to capture it, which is actually quite surprising. As the Graviton Surge comes out, it's only caught Paso.
Sounds like a Shadow went in there as well. It was Paso. It doesn't do a whole lot. Sound barrier for Fluoro, but Sydney Drop Bears have kind of backed away even despite the sound barrier. So Athletico are doing a great job of having really economic fights here. It's only been the rally and the nano boost through.
Here it comes, the EMP.
Again, the EMP. Can Sydney Drop Bears make some good use of it this time? No, there's a sound barrier down from design. Still Paso will drop. These immortality fields have been a bit of a pain for Athletico to deal with, but finally it seems Sydney Drop Bears are getting a bit more success. It's taken them a while, but Jay won't use this self-destruct. Seems like Athletico copping the L here.
Yeah, Diffie gets a late pick, but it's not enough. But actually, the last person to die being Quad J in design means they might be able to get a recontest off. They are quick to get back to the point.
Yeah,
will they try and go for it? Yeah, I think Paso's already in position. I think he wants to. See if the rest of the team, They do only have the self-destruct, and Shoyu is closing in on that Graviton Surge.
Self-destruct is definitely going to buy some space, but not if it's going to be hacked away from Quad J. Nothing he can do about it there to Nyang, and that actually builds a lot of EMP charge on up. Graviton Surge is through here. Self-destruct goes out as well. Quad J only able to catch the immortality field with that, but Paso has opened things up with an Earth Shatter. Now 47 seconds here, Smash. I alluded to it before. We've never seen a point A hold on Havana in Contenders Australia. This might just be it.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Jordan, but that Nyang ultimate is coming online, and Dreamer with the Shatter.
Listen, Smash, I don't want to listen to any of your reasons right now.
Sydney Drop Bears have the tools to win this next fight.
I don't disagree with you.
It's all on Nyang though, and Dreamer. They need to hit a big combo here. Kraken has the Transcendence to bail them out if they do stuff that one up, but the offensive ults really need to come through here.
The fight lasts too long. Athletico are going to build theirs on up. Paso drops really early. Oh well, I guess there goes that fight. No chance of a hold here for Athletico. We're not repeating the first attempt that Sydney Drop Bears had with an EMP. We are going to, at the very least, make good use of this one. Sydney Drop Bears will push on through to point A, which is no real surprise in the end. But Athletico are going to have to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, of course you'd be happy in the overtime hold, but sorry to ruin your day there. Managed to cap out the Sydney Drop Bears, but I really haven't felt this Baptiste pick working out at all. I mean, yeah, the barrier has been annoying to deal with, but I don't think I got much value out of it just yet.
Seems like you're a bit of a hater.
I definitely am a hater of not playing Brig in the 3-3 competition, or the 3-2-1 as it is now. See, it comes out, but what value are you getting out of it? Dreamer does get the damage boosted Fire Strike. That's a one-shot.
That is indeed. Looks like he's also got the Immortality field up right now, so Dreamer can afford to play a little more aggressively.
Probably not this aggressive though, as he goes very low, gets caught in the Graviton Surge, but a Kraken's there to bail him out with the Transcendence.
Transcendence is probably a little bit of an unfortunate use really from Sydney Drop Bears. I don't think they would have wanted that, and especially the way that this fight has turned out. An overinvestment of ultimates from Sydney Drop Bears, especially considering they end up losing the fight.
Certainly do, and Athletico managed to build up a few key ultimates there. They have 4 on board. Winter needs to swap to Brig here. Finally does. Yeah. Fun's over.
Kraken also went onto the Ana.
I don't think that's the right choice. I think the Zenyatta is still a bit better. But Yang with this EMP is going to be the fight-winning ultimate. Design's actually hiding on top of the drum right now, which makes it very difficult to hit.
Well, grabs in, and sound barrier totally cancelled. Oh, that's the worst possible situation for Athletico. There's a bit of egg on your face there, Design. Unfortunate for him, and Unfortunate for Athletico, but that could not have gone better for Sydney Drop Bears.
Certainly couldn't have. Design lacked the critical information of the EMP coming through, and that kind of sealed that fight very quickly. Sydney Drop Bears only 40 seconds on the clock though, and Athletico have the tools to retake. With that Quad J self-destruct, the deep field rally, I think the rally is the key here. If he can get the rally up, go very aggressive, and maybe punish Dreamer, that means Dreamer won't be able to use his shadow freely.
Well, here he back onto Quad J, so self-destruct not quite available just
Wow,
yet.
what a boot.
Whoop, Passo on the floor. Oh, I guess on the stairs, having a nap on the stairs. Still not what you want to be doing right now. There's a lot of work to be done for Athletico. Can they hold here? Phase B would be certainly a good hold. Well, the Shadow's also pretty good there. D-Field collected as well as Passo. And D-Field the first to drop, but it's a trade. Both Brigitas down, and now the main tank for City Drop Bears also falls. Quad J is getting some real damage done in this fight with the Diva. Yang, a last-ditch attempt. He's actually got the nano boost there as well. The damage going through to him is not a whole lot. Looks like Graviton Surge has missed completely, but over time ticking away, while Sydney Drop Bears will continue to get some touches for the next couple of seconds. It does feel as though this fight is falling by the wayside. Dreamer back in though, maybe can cause a bit of an issue. Winter as well, but Dreamer quickly falls.
Passo with the shadow should put the nail in the coffin here. It comes down a long way. It doesn't actually hit Fluoro on the walls, but the swinging hammer will manage to clean everything up, and that's not a very big push we've seen. We've seen bigger pushes out of the Sydney Drop Bears. Well, actually, probably haven't seen bigger pushes out of the Sydney Drop Bears, but
I think we've definitely seen some bigger pushes out on Havana than that.
definitely have. We've seen the map capped out and then pushed again.
Yeah.
Not all the way, of course, but that is a scary thought for the Sydney Drop Bears, considering that they were so close to losing the last map. This is a series that what could have been.
Yeah, exactly. But it wasn't. And that is going to hurt Athletico more than it's going to hurt Sydney Drop Bears. So they kind of scrape by, they get the points on the board. That's really what matters for them. But Athletico, they're going to be the ones that are up at night tonight, trying to go to sleep, thinking, well, what if I would have used EMP here? Or what if I would have shield bashed there? Or self-destruct or whatever, you know, maybe anything. Maybe one small minor thing that we didn't even pick up on.
Yeah.
What if I would have got the pick with Widow right there? That could have changed the course of this entire series.
And that's a situation I certainly have been in after last year's Melbourne Esports Open, actually.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, exactly. Like, what if we would have split off the card instead of
Okay.
all getting caught by a Graviton Surge and then a self-destruct?
what if Adam didn't throw the Diva Bomb into the spawn? What if Stein didn't miss the EMP? Oh, it was a disaster. Anyway, enough about the history of Australian Overwatch. Winter, back on the Baptiste.
You got to stop cyberbullying the children on the broadcast, Smash.
No, I will continue to until they improve.
Whoa. Zoom in on Smash's face right now.
It's angry. It's a beautiful mural that comes out there, actually.
Yeah.
It's beautiful artwork.
So,
There's your fella.
quite some work to do for Sydney Drop Bears on defense here.
Yeah, there is, and this Baptiste didn't work on the offense. Interesting to see how it'll work on the defense. I think Winter's just sick of playing Brig, and he's just locked in the hero to his team's dismay. Seeing a little bit of cart push here, in fact. So Sydney Drop Bears opting not to take the complete early fight. Quad J now gets hacked. Is this an opening that they need?
Dreamer had the Bionade connecting onto him as well. Does get forced back just a little bit, but Athletico still making some pretty good progress here.
Oh, Winter gets taken out in mid-air by that whip shot.
Not good. Not good at all.
Is he going to swap off now?
Goobs is the one that's pushing the cart. The rest of the team pushes forward to kind of push Sydney Drop Bears out of positioning. How much pushing and pulling can you do, Smash? Nonetheless, Drop Bears are pretty disappointed with how this is going so far.
Yang has been forced out, so it's kind of like a 5v6 at the moment, and Athletico know that. Passo dropping incredibly low from the aggression of Dreamer, though.
Oh, well, there is going to be a heal back up onto him. A hack through. A Kraken has got Transcendence. It seems like Sydney Drop Bears are throwing everything at the wall here, trying to make something stick, but it's just not happening. They do get the contest. Passo's got Shatter, just needs to be healed up a little bit. Won't get it in time. Sound barrier goes down now. Dreamer, his own Shatter comes out. A great Bionade through from Goobs, it must be said, but there's no follow-up for Athletico, unfortunately. And they do get held here at point A.
It was a fantastic sleep out of Goobs, too, to hit Yang in the back line, and the call came out and you saw Passo go straight for him, but unfortunately Passo couldn't get that Earth Shatter off. He just didn't have enough health. He thought he did, and he thought he had it lined up, but just not quite. Wubo now this Graviton Surge, but Shoyo has one in return. Yang's EMP will be the difference maker here, I believe, as Athletico
will,
don't
yeah.
have anything to deal with it.
Do you wait for the sound barrier here, or do you just throw it in? Obviously, Wubo's used his
Oh,
Graviton
so
Surge.
close.
Yang just gets sucked straight into it, but he's going to be okay by the looks of things. Now it's Yo-Yo's turn with the grab, and he'll get a decent one. It's enough for Sydney Drop Bears. Well, Design didn't get anywhere close to having sound barrier, so no point waiting for Niang. He's actually up to 25% again.
That was so close to cancelling that EMP too. Yang was put to sleep the millisecond after, and that would have been a fight-turning ability there, as you saw Shoyo backed into a corner, forced to use his Graviton Surge, and now the ultimates are quite dry on both sides. We'll see the Baptiste and the Transcendence from the Zenyatta player Kraken, but not a lot else.
Self-destruct for Athletico. They use that one to start the fight off here. Jay's just at the back, ready to sling it on up into the air.
Dreamer's being
there
slept.
It goes. Self-destruct through. It's going to catch Dreamer, like you say, on the floor, having a nap, and that's not where you want to be doing it. Especially not when there's a self-destruct, a giant nuke above your head. Sydney Drop Bears, it seems they will finally fall here on point A.
Ooh, it's a risky beat.
That's a bit of a,
It's a victory beat.
yeah. It's
Celebrating.
Bit preemptive, but 3 minutes and 22 seconds, you've still got time. Don't worry about it. Don't worry, Smash. Don't be too harsh on these Lucios. We can't all be as good as you.
No, I was definitely known for my ultimate usage. That's exactly what I was known for. But, going into this phase, Sydney Drop Bears have changed up. They've got the Brig now, so obviously point 1 they favour the Baptiste, and point 2 they favour the Brig. Passo is going to need a big shatter here if he's going to close out this map quickly though.
Doesn't need to necessarily be too quick for Athletico, just as long as they get it done here in 3 minutes. At least then they can salvage something out of this series. A point at the very least.
Oh, he's knocked him down!
It's in the hole. Down he goes. Just to reposition now for Dreamer. Got a good hack on to quite a number of Athletico players. It was the EMP from Yang and followed up with the
Wish
shatter.
you had your beat drop now, I bet, if you're Design, but
Yeah.
it looks like the boys are getting pushed out on the side of Athletico.
Actually would have been a great time for the beat drop as well.
Would have been a fantastic.
Sydney Drop Bears, like, they didn't exactly smash that fight, you know, so that could have been a tipping point.
Certainly could have been. Oh well, what could have been the series, it seems. Sydney Drop Bears now struggling on ultimates. They only have Fluoro's beat drop to answer the Wubo Graviton Surge. I think the key here is going to be D-Field's rally. If he can use that early and get some aggression, force out this Fluoro beat drop before the grab. Passo gets anti-nated though, he's so low.
That grab went a
Bit deep.
bit deep, but it has caught a couple of Sydney Drop Bears players. Still, sound barrier from Fluoro is going to keep everyone healthy. Design trying to knock these players off of the higher ground. Has to escape with his life, to be honest, at that point. And this is starting to get a little worrisome for Sydney Drop Bears. Now, though, self-destruct is through, could do some damage. Turns out it doesn't. Still looking for the shadow from Passo, and that's going to be thrown straight into the face of the Brigitte. It's Winter to die. Passo, however, will fall. Sydney Drop Bears, a stoic defense here with half a meter left on the payload for Athletico to push through. They're just not quite going to have enough. Sydney Drop Bears will force them back once again. 1 minute 26 now.
And Yang with the EMP can seal the next fight. There's nothing to deal with it on the side of Athletico. No Transcendence, Goobs is playing the Ana, and no beat drop. Design. Still 20% off that, and I think they really missed their best opportunity to capture this map.
Yeah, they have. It's a tough slog from now for Athletico, and is it going to be just another instance of so close yet so far? They did such great work on their defense, but the attack is letting them down just a little bit here. The Drop Bears coming back with a vengeance. Translocator up, and Yang gets cancelled. Great work. That's all D-Field there, and he's done it before once again. Nicely done for Athletico. Yang dead as well. So numbers advantage here for Athletico. Finally, they might be able to close the map out. Graviton Surge, of course, has to be thrown through from Wuvo. And now sound barrier down from Sydney Drop Bears, but I think it's too little and too late. Ro dancing on the point, trying to contest for as long as possible. But there you can see it's going to be Athletico to finish the map off, and they do at least salvage some pride, getting one map here against Sydney Drop Bears. It's a 2-1 victory still for the Drop Bears, but Athletico, they take a bit of that shine off.
Yeah, I mean, they needed the map win though. I mean, Legacy are chomping at the bit behind them, and they have a very good map score despite their series score. So Athletico really needed anything they could salvage from this series, and they managed to salvage one map win and a draw. Oh, so unfortunate though. If that Hollywood went their way, then what could have been on this 5th map?
Who knows how close it is going to be when we get toward the end of the season now. There's only 2 weeks left to go, and single maps can be the difference. We've seen it before. I mean, Mind Freak, I think it was Mind Freak, a couple of seasons ago, they got through based on one map difference.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple
against
of
Legacy.
seasons now. Yeah, one map difference versus Legacy, and we saw Order miss out on first place last season by one map win too. So these maps are so important. That was the EMP that strips the sound barrier out of design there. Quite unfortunate for him.
Yeah, that was actually a really nice play. Might be in contention for the play of the game. We'll have to see what it's going to be when we do get there. It's been a good week here, Smash. I mean,
It's been a fantastic week.
not even a single 4-0. First time, that's probably the first time in Overwatch Contenders Australia history that we've had a week without a 4-0
Yeah, it probably,
during regular season.
I think it might actually be this last season, maybe. But either way, it just shows that as the competition progresses, as these teams become more accustomed to each other, as new blood enters the scene, we see the teams, getting a bit closer on the table, and we've seen massive upsets this season too.
Maybe you can't teach the old dogs new tricks unless they're coming onto the casting desk.
Well,
and then
did
I
you
suppose
see D-Field now? He's an old dog, and he's got a few new tricks up his sleeve.
Apparently does. But still, look, that series is going to be a bit of a stinger, I think, for Athletico. It's just another one where they'll look at that and think, we were so close. Volskaya, okay, maybe that was a bit of a more one-sided one for Sydney Drop Bears. Ilios, definitely one-sided. But Hollywood, Athletico is going to be kicking themselves. They've picked up the win on Havana. What could have happened on Nepal if we got to Nepal? Well, we never will know.
We'll never know. We won't. But yeah, even Ilios, I mean, yeah, it was dominated by Sydney Drop Bears at the backstage, but they did that well. Well was very clean for Athletico. So it was a 2-1 on Ilios, and then Volskaya was pushed twice, and then Hollywood was, it was a disaster for Atletico after that second push, but unfortunate for the side of Atletico. They put up a good fight though. The second half of the series did look well improved.
Well, certainly some improvements to be made, perhaps for Athletico. But one more thing that we have to touch on, Smash, is our Macca's play of the game. It's Athletico and Sydney Drop Bears. The Macca's play of the game here is going to be Dreamer, and that was such a good shatter.
It was such an important shatter too in this defense. That fight was a fight they looked kind of dry on ults and they needed to build some, and Dreamer comes up with the goods with a big earth shatter. It's kind of clutch there. You saw Passo's shield dropping very low. The external bubble expires and he times it to perfection. Sometimes you can jump the gun a little bit early on those earth shatters, but Dreamer, not a victim of that. And he played exceptionally well on that Hollywood defense, actually. The way he engaged the fights and came down off the top rope swinging really set the tone for the defense.
Dreamer the ballerina.
Dreamer the ballerina. He is twirling around with that hammer.
Twirling around indeed. And look, a good win for Sydney Drop Bears just puts them out of reach, one would think, of the relegation teams. Where do they end up actually when it comes to the season standings and where they're going to find themselves in the playoffs? It's actually pretty important, I think, for those teams towards like the 5th, 4th, and well, 4th, 5th, and 6th kind of position to be sort of jostling a little bit, because you don't really want to be playing against 3rd place, which could be any one of Warriors, Ground Zero, or Mind Freak at this point. Any of those three, you're probably backing to win the match against seed number 6.
Yeah, certainly are, and I mean, it's such a tight race at the moment for that 4th, 5th, 6th, and now with Legacy picking up map win, even 7th position. Even this 3rd and 2nd, it's such a tight season.